Well, we will kind of start the presentation now. Just kind of want to say right at the beginning of it, if you have any questions, it is just kind of the four of us here right now. So if you have any questions, we'd like for you to wait till the end, or if you want to throw it in our chat, feel free to. But yeah, my name is David Mantelman. I'm part of our client success team. I just kind of wanted to put this webinar on to show you an exact tutorial on how to use it, and kind of just another reference for you to use it other than our help site. So let's kind of get into it. This should take about hopefully 20-ish minutes, something like that, with some room in the end to for you guys to ask plenty of questions and for us to answer anything. So let's start. So kind of what we're going to go over today is what our platform is, what Tour Builder is, and then quickly again jump into that live tutorial, and then hopefully round up in the end with some questions. So kind of what the difference between what our platform is and what 360 Tour is our platform and what 360 Tour, they're like, obviously our 360 Tour is a feature of our platform, but it's the only feature that's actually standalone. If you want wayfinding, if you want live data integrations, even if you want map tours, right, that is run through our interactive mapping platform. And yes, our 360 Tour can be integrated into that, but the best part about it is it is its own standalone feature. And that's kind of the main difference between what the 360 Tour is versus what our platform is and how they kind of work together. The next thing we're going to talk about is what Tour Builder is. What Tour Builder is it is the back-end content management system of our 360 Tour. Same thing with our content management system of our interactive 3D map. It's just that, except it's for our 360 Tour. What 360 Tour is, it's our front-facing tour. It's what you're going to share with your end user, with your clients, with whoever you're going to share it with. And I saw somebody just joined as well. Just a quick recap. I don't know if you jumped on. We're talking about our platform, but just kind of moving into what our Tour Builder CMS is, as well as what our 360 Tour is. And as promised, we're going to talk about kind of what the features are, and then after that, we'll jump into a quick live tutorial. So kind of the main features that jump out to me about our 360 Tour is you can upload a panorama, you can upload a static image or a 360 video to each stop. You can upload additional media. You can alt tag that media as well. You can upload YouTube videos or actual physical videos if you upload it to our media library. And most importantly, to make it like a walking tour, you can add an audio and even audio transcripts. Another important feature that really stands out to me of our 360 Tour is you can have a share URL and you can embed it in your website, which I think is super valuable, as well as VR mode. That's an important feature that is even pertinent to right now, is be able to experience something in a full immersive way. And that's what the VR mode does. And we give that to you. And if your end user has capabilities to do that, then they can see your tour. Other things you can kind of jump into, we'll share the slides afterwards, but other things are important and valuable, but we'll kind of get into it when we are going over the live tutorial. And as promised, let's jump into it. So when you create an actual Tour Builder account, again, our backend CMS, you can sign up with your LinkedIn account, your Google account, or you can just type in your physical email address. I like to keep all my passwords in one place and not have to keep on remembering, so I'm actually going to log in with my Google account. And then when you sign in, if you have any previous tours, they're all going to be on this left sidebar over here. And from there, you can just create a new tour. So let's kind of do that. And an important thing as well is every tour that you create will show up on the map here to the right. And we'll kind of see that in just a second here. So let's create a new tour. I'm just going to name this our tutorial tour. And just as that with our description, let's just do it the tour of our tutorial. And let's kind of, what I'm just going to do is kind of move methodically through it, just so we can go over everything one by one. So down here, a really cool feature is you can actually change the map box tiles. So right now it's in our street view. You can kind of see Knoxville right here. You can change the map box tile to be lighter. I'm just going to change the coloring of the background. You can change it to even be darks if you're trying to do more of a night tour, something like that, or a tour specifically for that. And then we just got another set of matte box tiles as well, just a whole different style than our Street View, right? Kind of moving on from there, I'm going to go back to Street View. We've got a mini map display. Here you can turn that on and off, whether you'd like that or not, just depending on what your kind of experience that you're giving. If you're a current client, this is awesome. You can actually upload your renderings to it, but just make sure to talk to your client success manager. That's something that they can help you with. Feel free to reach out to them after this, or if you have any other additional questions. And like if you are an existing client, we have default zoom levels for our map as well. So you can zoom in just like you would normally and set your default zoom level. So I'll set it right there. And again, what this is for is this is just for your end users. It's gonna be the first, this is gonna be the actual like zoom level they'll see when they sign on after you share with them your completed tour. So let's set that and make sure with everything, as we've all been there before, please click save. It's the worst when you start a project or you walk away for a second, you come back and you've either been logged out or you forgot to save. So like with everything, always click save, be preemptive about it. So cool, let's actually create a tour stop right now. So, and just for you guys, I'm gonna create 3 tour stops. I'm gonna do a panorama. I'm going to do a static image as well as a 360 video. So let's create our first tour stop. An important thing you have to do every time, as you can kind of see it's kind of glowing at me right here, is you have to drop a pin. You can either click this button here, you can kind of drag where you like to do it, or if you want to do more of an exact address, you can actually drag and drop, even search in here an address, or what I like to do is just have the address ready, have it search. Of course, with every live demo, nothing ever works perfectly, so I'm going to do, you can even see it will actually take us all the way to that address that I searched for. To give it a second to load here. So, and say the address isn't exactly what you wanted, you can still drag and drop and put it. Say if I want it more in the actual like center for the park right here, you can still drag and drop. So cool. Let's kind of move on from here. And so we've got 3 media types you can upload to every tour stop. You can have a panorama, a 360 video, which is in beta, or a static image. If you want to learn a little bit more specifically about each media type, if you're confused by what they are, this is a great help article for you. We actually have a help article as well, but if you just want to click on this, it'll tell you more about your resolution and about a little more about what each type is. But yeah, let's kind of jump into it. So I'm going to add a panorama image. You can either upload it from your computer, select from your media library. So basically, there's a button up here for it as well. If you just want to get all of your media ready before you start your tour, which is a great idea, you can upload it to your media library and manage it from there. Or if you have previous images you're using for multiple tours, that's kind of the media library is used for. And this button just takes you back to the home screen if you didn't mean to click it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag and drop. Another way to kind of get all your media ready. While this kind of is uploading, let's kind of jump down here. So with our descriptions, you can add a pretty large description here for each stop. It'll just kind of scroll down. I'll show you in a bit when we get to the actual, when we finish our tour, we'll show you what the descriptions kind of look like. But I'm just gonna add a description to it. Have it all ready to go. Again, you can change the different header types. You can change the fonts. You can do everything from here. We just added that a little while ago. You can add additional images as well, which is great. You can add videos and audio tracks, and we'll kind of add these as we're going. As you see, our panorama is ready to go. Before we do that, I'm just going to add an additional image so we can kind of see what that looks like. And that'll take a second as well. But it's a little bit quicker because it's a static image. So cool. So let's preview this panorama, see what it looks like. Make sure we didn't accidentally drop a static image in here. I've done that myself. So an important thing, so it looks like it actually transferred super well. An important thing you want to do is, again, when you're creating a tour, you want to give a great experience to your end user. So set a default view. So this is the first image they're going to see when they walk in. And then what you can do as well is you can add a north orientation. So you can geolocate it, and this is going to be important with the mini map. And then as well as you can set auto rotating. So what happens is the the image will slowly rotate when the end user is viewing it. So you can have it auto rotate or not. I'll have it just so you guys can see it. The end user does have control to turn that off later. So cool. That is creating your first stop. We can click save as we always do. And then from here, you can actually create another tour stop or go back to the tour editor screen. I'm going to create another stop right now. And we'll actually create a stop after this one from the tour editor as well. So what you can do is, I'm going to add a 360 video this time. So just to make it a little bit quicker, I'm actually just going to drag and drop my 360 video into it. I'll add our tour stop name. And then while that's uploading, again, we do have these 4 different types of media you can add as well. And I think I'm actually going to add a audio track to this one. Oop, and it didn't work. Classic. But yes, you can upload it, and I probably just did not follow the format that I was supposed to, and I thought I did yesterday. But as with any webinar, things go wrong. So let's kind of move on from here. So same kind of thing with a 360 video. You can preview it, or it will take you to that preview stage if you just click on the settings buttons here. So I'm going to actually spin mine to set this as the default view. I'll have a north orientation going here. And then kind of like with our auto rotate, we've got a loop 360 video function as well. So you can have the video keep looping. I'm actually going to have mine end to kind of signify to the end user that it's time to move on to the next stop. The video is over. But if you want to have it continuously going, feel free to do that. And I'm going to click save. Oop. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't add a map marker. So and as I said earlier, you can't add a map marker. You can't save until you've actually added a map marker. So I'm just going to click this button here. It's going to drop a map. It's going to drop the marker here. Or again, what I can do is search the kind of Denver aquarium. And it'll just drop the pin right where you searched. So cool. Let's click the save button and move on. And what you can do actually with your tour stops, which is great, is you can actually add a default zoom as well for this. You know, we had the default zoom on the first, like the first screen we were kind of going through. You can actually add a default zoom for each stop as well. If you want it really zoomed in on the stop, you can do that if you want to really focus on that. So I'll set a default zoom level for that. Click the save button. I'm going to go back to the tour editor and show you that you can still add a new tour stop from here. So let's add our third and final stop. Oh, and guess what I didn't do? The really important part of each, of actually viewing it and previewing it, is I didn't add a description. So let's add a description of this one. So it's also kind of important sometimes to go back because you'll be able to see everything from the tour editor. Let's add a third and final stop, and this one will just be our static image. For this one, I'm just going to drop a pin kind of randomly. It doesn't really matter for me where this one exactly is. I'll just kind of drop in the middle of here. Let's add a static image. You'll notice this is going to be a lot quicker just because it's just a static image. You'll see it's going to be a lot quicker. It just has to add to the database really quickly. And then let's add a quick description. Yeah, and then kind of the last step is, why don't we just add a video to this? And for this, I'm actually going to select for our media library, kind of show you what that looks like. So I'll add a video to here, add to the stop. And it's just a lot quicker just because, again, we uploaded it earlier. So let's click save. And what I'm going to do is go back to the tour editor. So cool. So far we've gone kind of through our general, we've got our tour stops. The next super important thing is going through our buttons. So why buttons are important is they are your call to actions like you have on any website for your university or business. You can actually put that on your tour just so you can have something to link out so you can kind of make it your own. So we have 2 different types of buttons here. We've got a standard, which is just a typical button, or you've got a drop down, which will give you multiple links. I'm going to do a standard just for my first one. I'm just going to name it our company, just so they kind of see that. And then what I'm going to do is add our website as well. For me, I always do a new tab just so you can still have your current tour going, and then they can go out and check out what you're linking out to later. So I'll click the save button. I guess it didn't want to work for me. There we go. All fun parts when you're doing a live demo. And then let's add another button, and I want to do the drop down this time. So let's just name this, I'm just going to name it exactly what it is, so I'll just name it a drop down. Let's add a couple drop down links. So just do the link title. So our first one's I'm just going to do a website for our first one. So same kind of thing we did earlier. Let's click save. And then just add another link. You just keep doing titles. So I'll do contact us. And then let's do and then for our last one, I'll just link back to Tour Builder. So cool. Make sure you click that little save button on the side there every time. And then we'll do a Tour Builder one. Cool. Click the save button. And then updates just to say is just our save version here when we get to buttons here. And again, they're going to pop up on the left side of our screen for our front end user. So let's move on to styles. What's really great about styles is what's important about everything for your business is to keep it on brand, and that's what kind of styles is for. So you can do your primary color. You can add a hex code here to the bottom, or you can even drag and drop if you're not as picky. Or if you're trying to get closer to something like that. This is, I think, dragging and dropping the color over here is a little important later. You can add your logo, which is great. So this will show up. We'll kind of show you where that shows up. And then those buttons that you're actually creating, you can make them on brand as well. You can have a normal or a hover. So I'll just do I'll do a different color for our normal, and then when I'll hover, I'll keep it that same green. So we'll do for that. And then kind of moving on from there, kind of following this key to the left, is you can upload a favicon. And what's so great about that is your favicon can show up in your browser and again, show again that this is your company's virtual tour. So let's click update. Sweet. You can kind of see the share and publish button. We've got not only a red notification here, but also an exclamation point here. You'll see it on the home screen. What this is this is letting you know that your tour has like content in it, but it isn't published. And until you publish it, it can't be shown to your front end tour. So with anything, you should always just do a quick preview, and we do have that function here. Same thing we saw on each tour stop. So click the preview button. This is what your front end user is going to see. But before we kind of get into this, let's go back, because it seemed like everything looked fine every time I previewed my images, everything looked fine. But let's actually go, and I'm going to click the publish button right here, and it's going to take me to that tab we were just looking at next to styles. So you click publish now. You can see this is going to be a share link if you just want to share this with an individual person, or if you actually want to embed, we give you an embed code as well. We have a media view and a map view. It'll be a little more important here in just a second. So let's grab this share link. See what it kind of looks like in a browser. Cool. So what's so great about the 360 Tour is if this is a first-time user, they can actually click on this button here, and it will show you, it'll like give them a bunch of tips and tricks on actually how to do it, which is great. Learn how to explore this tour. So you can drag, and so it'll just kind of give them a couple tips on like how to use a virtual tour if they've actually never used one before, which I think is awesome. And let's actually start the tour ourselves. So you can kind of see on the left side here, we've got the logo that I uploaded. We've got the hover colors different. We've got our buttons. We've got our drop down right here. And then on the right side here, we've got our share link so that you can still share this with other people. We've got our VR mode. So let's click into that and see what it looks like. So you can kind of see it's similar, but a little bit different. And it's just escape to get out of it if you're doing it on your desktop. And then we've got a full screen mode right here. And then, like we talked about earlier, the user does have the option to turn off auto rotate if they want, or the option again to turn it on. You can kind of see here, this is the description I put earlier. You've got an image that I uploaded. And then this is what the mini map is. You can kind of see this is the north orientation that I set, and that's what kind of this little radar thing is here. If we want to switch out of it, you just click these buttons right here. And this is going to be map view. So this is what those share links were for. We had our map view and our media view. This is really the only differences. When we get into map view, you can kind of see that I can hover over it and see the media that I attached as well, which is great. So let's go back to our media view. This is our stop gallery down here. So you either can click on the image or you can click next. I'll click next for this first one to see what it kind of looks like. If you click the play button, a 360 video is going to load. It's awesome. You can still interact and see this 360 video live. See the core, and again, here's our description here on the right on the bottom. And for this next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on it, and it'll bring me there just like the next button did as well. And again, if you want to upload a video like we did earlier, it's just going to pop up right here. So just like that. So it kind of auto populated it from earlier. So yeah. So, and this is pretty much everything. This is what the front end user is going to use. If you click on this, it's going to link me out, which is great. So this is pretty much the tutorial of our, this is pretty much a tutorial. Appreciate you bearing with me. And again, this is the tour we just created. It's right here. I'd like to open it up to some questions if anybody has any. So feel free to unmute yourself or put it in our chat.
Hey, David, this is Brent.
How you doing, Brent?
Hey, do you guys have a facility view or a building view through the tour function as well? Or is this more intended for like a campus or a city type tour, street by street, so to speak?
So when you mean a building view, do you mean like you want like a view within the building, or what do you mean by exactly?
Yeah, so if, for example, instead of giving a tour over an entire campus, if you were inside of a building and you were going from, say, room to room or space to space within the building, can you use the tool in that same feature as well?
Oh, totally. Yeah, you can go within a building and take photos and totally go from each view and each stop be centered around that, if that's kind of what you're asking.
Are you then able to upload some sort of building map that would show the different spots or the different tour spots within that building, or is that more of just the navigation feature for a true navigation map?
Jump in and Carolyn, on that.
Yep.
This is Caroline. I'm also on the client success team here at Concept 3D. We are adding the functionality to have multiple interior levels. At this point in time, if you had a rendering of an interior, we could add that to the mini map, but it would just be stuck to one floor. But that is functionality that's coming in the near term to be able to jump from floor to floor.
Okay, thank you, Carolyn.
Sure.
Yeah. Any other questions from anybody? Any other questions or any interest in any features you guys had that I kind of went over today, or if not, no big deal.
Thank you for your time today, guys. I've got to run, but I appreciate you going through the tool.
Yeah, no problem, Brent. Thanks for logging on, and we hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Oh, cool, guys. We got a couple more minutes.
It looks like we do have some questions in the chat. Sam asked, where does the favicon show up in the browser? David, if you have the tour still on your screen, the favicon will show, if you see in his browser tab that tutorial tour, that is where your little favicon will show. That right now it's a Concept 3D icon, but you can customize that icon there. And then another question, what are the specs for the 360 video? Within Tour Builder, David opened up the specs sheet. It'll tell you right in that window about the media. David, if you go to the Tour Builder creation tab, and then when you clicked on about media for a stop, that little pop-up had the specs listed. I don't know them offhand, but not preview, but if you go to edit
Okay,
there
yeah.
itself. So bear with us, Dave. We'll go ahead and pull up those specs real quick here. And just a quick note, you can create one of these accounts. We have opened up this platform at no cost for a 5-stop tour. So if you're an existing client, go ahead and create an account. We encourage you to utilize this platform. But yeah, if David goes to the images tab,
I think, oh, I know what you're talking about. Yep. If we go back to the specs button here, so I'll click a new tour and then.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
There it is. Yep.
Perfect. So there is some specs here for all of the different media: panorama, 360 video, or still images.
Yep.
You can access those there.
Yeah.
We found people have been taking video with like GoPro cameras. There's a bunch of cameras out there now that allow you to take 360 video. What it comes down to is the size, and you know, you want to make sure that the speed is there for users.
Cool. Do you have any other questions through chat? Cool.
Looks good. Well, thanks for joining, everyone, and please reach out with any additional questions that you might have.
Yep, totally. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it.